My best self-employed estate agents are women. Today, I'm joined by Ian Preston, who runs Preston Baker along with his business partner, and it is a self-employed model. And he said before we switch the camera on that your best performing agents are women.
That's right. So all of our six-figure agents who work for us are women. And one of the things that I'm really excited about with the self-employed model generally is that there's well-documented pay gaps between men and women across almost all industry sectors. And I don't have the qualifications to be able to understand exactly why that is. But the thing about self-employed estate agency is that it is a pure meritocracy. You get paid what you produce. Yeah, it is a direct percentage. So if you work harder, if you are better, if you are more empathetic, you get paid more money. And what has been really interesting is just to see the cream rise to the top. As I say, out of our top performing self-employed agents, so far 100% of them are women.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think the combination of flexibility, meritocracy, and the fact that there's no pre-existing prejudice about how much people get paid. I think all of those factors have gone to do that. To make that a reality. And I attended the Women in Estate Agency conference last year. It was the first time I'd attended. I'm going to attend again this year. I thought it was a brilliant conference. I think the guys who organised it was absolutely superb. And one of the topics which I'd never really considered before, was this idea about the prejudices which we have, which I don't think of myself as a sexist person, and yet this sort of like unconscious bias that we have. So so once that's removed through a meritocratic system, you're suddenly then in a position where, in our case, in our business, those people have risen to the top.
Do you think women make better estate agents?
I mean, the evidence from our own experience, and that's, I guess, all I can judge from, is yes.
Why is that?
I wouldn't like to offer too much of an explanation about it, other than it requires a huge amount of hard work. It requires a huge amount of empathy.
I think that's a big one, isn't it? Is that it is the EQ, the ability to have empathy, the ability to understand, to care. What's the I'm making a sweeping statement here. The traditional silver-tongued, shiny suit estate agent. It's all about the deal. Whilst we all talk about relationship-based estate agents,
Sure.
women have greater skills in that department, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm always very conscious and nervous about making a sweeping gender-based statement. Really, all I can stick to is the facts. Is that our self-employed agents, who are women, earn significantly more than a men, and I imagine is that if I went back 15 years and I looked at the payroll of the people who are working for us under an employed model, it would not have been as stark as that. And I just think
It would have probably been the other way around.
probably would have been the other way around. And I think that's really true. And one of the things I was chatting to Verona Frankish about at the last event is how do we support more women to get into top leadership positions within owned businesses? Because when you go to conferences, one of the most surprising things, given what we've just discussed, that when it's a purely meritocratic system, the women have risen to the top. How do we make sure that when we go to conferences and we meet with business owners, that they're not, white guys in their 40s and 50s?
Well, I've just come back from a large conference and it was white guys in their 40s and 50s.
That's it. And I think our industry is poorer for that. And certainly one of the things which, one of the reasons I'm going to the Women in Estate Agency conference in March is to try and understand that better and see if there is a contribution which we can make to try and accelerate that process and the adoption of women in the very top positions.
I'm also a great advocate for women in the state agency, the Facebook group and what they do with the conference. And again, I would ask anyone watching this, if you know someone in the industry who has a great story to tell, who unfortunately might not be able to post online, but I've got something interesting to say, then please do flag it up to me, because if you can make them aware of me, we can probably get them on the sofa and tell their story.
Yes.
So we can push the story forward.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time today.
Pleasure.